Well, let's move on. We have so much to talk about with the state of Rochester. Now, the accusations against Superintendent Lesli Myers-Small. Now, we know that she has a sexual complaint issued against her. Who wants to start? What did you think when you heard that, she had this complaint filed against her?
Okay, I guess I go again first, real quick. As Howard knows, because he kind of pulled my card on this one. I felt she's innocent until proven guilty. As a Black woman, we do that. We compliment women on their shape, their outfits, and all that. And I simply still feel that she kind of just went, "Ooh, girl, look at that! You look nice," and kind of just tapped her. It wasn't. I don't think it was like that. She tapped her breast, saying, "Oh, you look good." It was something like that, and it was misconstrued because of culture. That's my take. That's still my take. Whether she pleads out, whether she doesn't, whether she takes the charge or not, I feel like that is the case, and I'm still sticking to it, Howard. Even though I know you're calling me out on it, you call me out on it. That's just my 2 cents, because I am that girl. I'm the girl to walk up to one of my girls. If I know you or not, "Oh, you look good, girl. Look at that." So that's just me. And I touch on people. So my 2 cents.
I'm okay. Oh,
go ahead, Fred. Go ahead.
I'm okay with you look good or whatever, but it's I can't seem to think that you would go and touch another woman's breast. I don't care if it's your good friend. I mean, there's some parts that I don't care who it is, you just don't touch. On the shoulder, maybe on the arm, the elbow. That may be fine. But one of the things that I thought was weird is that the woman who now brought this out said in a statement that she wasn't going to say anything. So somebody said something and then she had to bring it up. Somebody else complained and said that, and then she had to say what happened, or somebody pushed her into saying something. But either way, I just thought that just threw me for a loop. But anyway, anyone who has a sexual harassment charge, whether it's proven or not at the moment, that person has to step down normally out of the position that they're in. And then when they come back after that is all settled, but they will not operate in that capacity with that charge pending, especially if you're in an environment that deals with the welfare of children. So that just bewilders me that she's still in office. And the board hasn't said anything to say, "Look, Lesli, you need to step aside for a moment while this gets sorted out." So I'm confused. I didn't think, to be honest, I never thought that she was up to the task from day one.
So I definitely disagree with Tatiana on this, and I still do, and it's very interesting. Back to what Fred said, right? Like, try to remove our feelings, right? That is so important. Again, I'll say it again. When we're trying to really determine what the objective reality is, to the extent and degree that we can, it's important that we remove our feelings. And if you listen, you heard her say, I feel that. As far as I know, she has no evidence, but she feels that, right? That's the Black woman, solidarity, and I'm with that. But when you're wrong, you're wrong. We don't know if she's wrong, but we don't know if she's right either. So in my view, the intelligent position is a neutral position, in my view, until you know the facts. However, and I'm almost scared to say this because I don't want to get charged with sexual harassment. I'm not trying to suck up to Shanique, but I've been banking on you. I've been saying this is what I know about Shanique as a reporter, that so far when she says that she has this information from reliable sources, those sources have panned out every time in every story that I've seen so far. And so I saw Shanique write that there were witnesses that this woman's breasts were funneled in front of other people, that her sources told her that. And so that's what I've been standing on. You know how many people in this community I've argued with about that. Well, why are you just against this woman? Again, they think, I don't know. I guess they think I got some person against every black woman who's in power. That is what they tell me. You just don't like her. No, Fred and the minister would tell you, I was saying Leslie wasn't up to this job a year ago. She never was up to it. She is not qualified to be superintendent of the Rochester City School District. She's not grounded enough. Even culturally, she's not. Leslie is more like a white girl than she is a black woman. I know her background. I know her mother. I know Leslie when she first came into education. I know her mindset. I know her skill set. She's not ready. She's not equipped to run this district. And I didn't just start saying that. But now, there's no way in the world that she could be an effective leader. There's just no way in the world. She wasn't from the beginning, but she definitely can't be now. And I'm with Fred. I don't know why they haven't already said to her, you got to be suspended. You got to be put on suspension or whatever until we resolve this. But I do know why, because we allow it. See, it goes right back again to being organized. If we were organized, we would not allow it. If we believe that, if we believe she should be on suspension, we would demand that. And it would have damn happened. Or there would be no business as usual. But we not organizing. So we scratch our head. Wow, how's she still there? How come she ain't on? Because we allow it. That's why. And I really don't. I'm gonna say something, stop. I really don't like comparing us to white folks at all. I don't. But we can learn some things from the white community. The white community does not allow for something like this to happen in their community. That woman would have been on suspension the next day after that came out, because they don't play about their children. But we do. We play about ours. We talk that talk. But we let people do pretty much what they want. And I'll say this to Fred, again, back to being objectively analytical and critiquing things right. You said that the woman has said that she was not going to make a statement. She never said that. Colleen hasn't said a word about this, not one word. She hasn't said a word. Justin Murphy or whoever did the story reported that and said sources said that. But she hasn't said anything. It does kind of stand to reason, though, right? I'm just saying, though, let's know the objective facts. She hasn't said a single word. Nothing.
So yes, I do want to state that we initially did an article that said that the charges were bogus, because when we heard the story, it sounded made up. I knew that everything was going on with the busing issue, but then we received a call, and it had been confirmed twice to me that what we published is accurate and actually what happened. I mean, it's unbelievable. But from my sources say that that's what happened. Anyone else want to jump in on this?
Shanique, I just wanted to go at it this way, because I think there's a bigger issue at stake, and that is the Board of Education. The community did speak to the Board of Education at Dr. Freddie Thomas School about the leadership that we wanted to see over our children. And it seems that a pattern is now developing that every time the community is shut down, we run into these type of calamities where we're not focused on the main thing. Now, can you imagine that here we are talking about, once again, someone's personal life when we can't get children to school? We have children that are in third world conditions educationally because of COVID, and how many people are students that have fell behind. So in the meantime, we're right back to repeating what we know we don't have to, that if the president of the board, the vice president of the board, instead of being verbally abusive to the community about what is not our right and what we should be locked out of, I guarantee you, if the community was listened to, we would not be dealing with this. But the bigger thing is not her personal life, if it happened or not. we need to be thinking about who's going to be the potential next choice, because our children need proper leadership in order to help them get educated. So here again, we're right back to the same cesspool of being off focus. And whatever works out for the adults, and we know that this is the history of the school district, adults do fine. Financially, politically, socially, whatever the case may be. But our children lose and our families lose. And I think that that's where we have to put the focus. And also we have new people on the board who are totally silent. They're your next representatives. And whose mail are they carrying if they can't speak freely before they get on the board to talk about what they ran on to try to make a difference in the school board? Everybody can't think the same about this issue. And the focus right now is not on the children. It's not on the families. Again, it's the history of many reports that are off the shelf and on the shelf. This district is only concerned about adults, not children. And so we're seeing that right before our eyes. And that's what we as a community are going to have to organize to change.
So what do we think should happen to Superintendent Lesli Myers-Small? Anthony?
So for me, I would definitely, I spoke to several people, but I definitely like to see more evidence as it relates to the accusation, as Freddie said. And this goes back to Howard's earlier comment, classism, the Black elitists, or the respectability of Black folks in this community, and how they're treated as it relates to allegations or just a disposition, and how that trickled down to us, those in spaces that are marginalized. So that's something that our community, the Black community, is struggling with internally, and we have to address that. And you know, it's a the governor just stepped down for allegations, wasn't even found guilty of anything. He resigned off of allegations, and in his statement, he released that it was the best interest of the state of New York to do so. Whether or not, if he didn't, more stuff is going to come out. That you know, that's speculation. But however, we as a people have to understand and take responsibility and accountability for stuff. I believe that the superintendent position, it either should be voided out or it should turn into an elected position. Folks should be able to vote for a superintendent instead of a superintendent going through a board. And also we have to understand roles. The superintendent role is folks say the superintendent is there to protect our children, and the superintendent is really not there to protect the children. Superintendent is to make sure the functionality of the district and the administrative part of the district flows correctly and bring in stakeholders. The board is elected. They're the ones that are supposed to be not only the stewardess over $1 billion budget, but also they are the ones that's supposed to be going through policy procedures and everything related to education and safety and safeguarding our children. And they fail. We see it time and time again, and it's no different as their counter branch of government. The mayor's role and functionality is to build a portfolio for the city of Rochester and gain more assets for the city of Rochester. Council's job is supposed to protect constituents, talk to constituents, build relationships, understand what's going on in the community. To what you'll hear reoccurring in these conversations is organizing. I think during this whole 18-month time that activist has been erected and the movement gained a little traction, we failed in so many ways as organizers and activists and community leaders, civic leaders, faith-based leaders, because we didn't organize. Because if we organized, we would have had the pick we needed for the superintendent spot, first of all. Second of all, if we organize the stuff that's happening in our community related to busing, all the stuff in the district would have been broken up by now. Our community will continue to be in a rut until we remove egos, personal feelings, and dislikes or concerns about folks' personal business or how their makeup is in order to advance the cause. I think Dr. Lesli Smalls will eventually, in my opinion, I think she'll resign. It's just we're in this state where the culture, folks, talk about our culture. We talk with our hands. We get loud. We're passionate. The Italian culture, kiss, and all that type of stuff. But in 2021, the cancel culture is so prevalent that an allegation can have you losing your job. And that's why in this beginning of this conversation, Howard says something that we cannot align ourselves or act like just because white folks do it, we can do it. We have to make sure that we do better and continue to stay and push the mark to want to be better. And I think when we start striving in that realm and holding each other up more, and creating a safety net around those that we've pegged leaders, a lot of this stuff doesn't happen.
Let me say this point, and I won't say anything else. I don't know how y'all feeling, but I'm bothered by the fact that the board hired with their own, they got a legal department, a whole legal department. They hired one of the top-notch legal firms in this city to investigate this matter with your tax money, again, without asking you anything. And it's been ongoing for weeks. What's taking so long? Why? This investigation should have been over. I could have did this investigation in a week by myself. This is, it looks like another cover-up, y'all. Why is this taking so long? And again, nobody's saying anything. It's like we acting just like this normal. And I have to, they talk about gaslighting. I have to check my own sanity. I say, well, maybe it's just you. Maybe just you want to say something. But shouldn't we be saying something? Shouldn't we be saying it's been long enough? They've been on our payroll long enough? Give us the results, whatever you found. Give us a I don't know how you call it, an interim report or something. Just amazing to me. It's just mind-boggling.
All right. So are there any final thoughts? Anyone wants to wrap this thing up? Definitely. We covered a lot of information. Lesli, lovely. What else do we have left to kind of add to this conversation to wrap it up? I want each person to kind of wrap up their sentiments on what happened tonight and how we move forward.
I think this is a great conversation. I thank you so much, Shanique, for even creating this platform and allowing us space to even come and talk and get some things out. And as the kids on this call said, keeping our emotions in check when we talk about these kind of things is important. I'm learning to do that. And I just thank you guys for the information, because again, like Howard said, I was just kind of, like he said, I didn't have any information. It wasn't no proof. It was going off of my field. We've been talking too. So, I'm catching up and I see there's sources that's incongruent to your article and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, why is she still here then with our kids? She need to be gone then, and I just love these kind of spaces. You guys always teach me stuff. I always learn, and I always grow as a person myself. So again, thank you for the table, for the invite, and for just being who you all are. Thank you all. And
I want to thank you as well, and I want to thank everyone that was on the panel. It's through conversations and dialogue like this that we get a better understanding of things. Because sometimes we look at something only from the view that we're looking at it. And sometimes it takes another perspective, someone that looking at it from a different angle, a different view, a different vantage point, to give some context to a thought you already had, a decision that or a question that was not quite answered. But it's through dialogue like this that these things happen. I used to think that, you know, communication was the key, but it's wasn't until later in life that I had to understand that comprehension is the key. We can communicate all day long, but if you're not comprehending anything I'm saying and I'm not comprehending anything that you're saying, then it was just wasted words. It was not, you know, so I'm happy and glad that you brought this platform together. And I do think that we're going to see some different things happen. And I just hope that we don't look and think that because someone new comes, that things are going to change for Black America in Rochester. Because we have two systems. And I don't care what person comes into the political arena, you're going to have to work with those two systems. And you're going to either make one happy and you're going to piss one off, and or vice versa. That is just, there's no way possible in this, the way this society is set up, that you're going to make both sides happy. It's impossible. Well, from my view, it's impossible. And I'm sorry, Howard, I took that from you, my view. But I just think it's impossible. And so we just need to be real about that fact. We may not get everything that we want, but are we happy with whatever we get? And if not, then we're going to have to strive harder to get a better balance for our portion of the pie. Because I can't really fault white America for their fight for the pie if I'm not fighting that hard myself. And, you know, they're fighting hard to keep us down. They're fighting really hard. And what's sad is that they have us fighting each other. So they've gone off to play golf, like the minister said, while we're still here fighting each other. They're going to play golf. They started the fight and left.
Thank you. I appreciate this forum, Tocsin Magazine, your platform. Definitely want to uplift you and get you in a space where Black media is thriving in our community. It's very important how we are depicted in our community and where does that outlet come from? As Fred said earlier, you know, media plays a huge role in the development of our children and policies, procedures, laws, codes, and ordinances. So we have to do a better job at assisting those that are trying to start and already starting their profession and media as Black folks. What I will say is, I've said it, Howard said it, the minister have said it. Organizing is very important. At this point, I'm frustrated because we're still in silos and we continue to do silo work. And I kind of thought you were going to bring up the latest cop incident that took place. And so many folks on every platform have been talking about this incident and whether or not, you know, it's justified, but in advocacy, we have a responsibility to make sure that we represent from a standard of fidelity. And in order to do such, we have to make sure that we know all the pieces. A lot of times in our community, we run the fires to scream it's a fire, and we have no resources to put it out. And half of the time, do we really care to put it out? But homing back in organizing, we have to organize. The next mayor, no matter what, I believe Fred said that it's two systems, and I believe that there's only one. Donald Trump showed us that there's one system, and you can fuel that system for your own agenda and make it work. I believe that our forefathers and mothers' greatest feat was for those of us to get elected and appointed in spaces where we can effectuate change. And when we do get elected, it's important to move in a manner where you can galvanize more Black folks around you to bend the wheel. It changes the game when you can call on 5,000 people. It changes the game when you're up against a racist system that's using racist tactics, when you can call on 5,000 people. It's important that this community understands this moment that we're in. We're still in a moment that we have to seize, and we're losing the opportunity. So for me, I appreciate everyone's work in this community, the Faith-Based Alliance, the Take It Down planning committee. I appreciate you all, and I want you all to stay encouraged. And I still say to Howard and Minister Florence, where's the table? When are we going to be able to? And I know we done tried with different other organizations and different folks, but I look to you to bring more elders in, and I will do my best to bring more young people in.
Shanique, I wanted to say thank you for the invitation and the fine work that you're doing in our community through Black media, and it's been a privilege to meet you and to work with you, and your professionalism is wonderful. Want to say to all my colleagues here that certainly we want to continue to forge unity in our work in this city and in the county. But I was going to end by saying the one table is being formulated as we speak. I think the interesting thing about the call and the answer will also include the subjects of conversation that we had this evening. It would be interesting to see if Mayor Warren would come to the table, that Lesli would come to the table, and Bellows come to the table, the president of the council, vice president of County Ledge, same thing. We got to get the business community to come to the table. It's a family table we have to create. There's some things that the Black community needs to do for themselves, but simultaneously we have to create a wider one table that we can get in conversations and rooms that we have been historically locked out of, and we're perpetuating our problems by not making the effort to kick doors down, to let folks know it's not going to be business as usual at any level. So I think the one table among us is being established. The call has gone out, and it will continue to go out at all levels. The call and the answer has to be the same and has the same urgency and intensity. But I also would challenge us that there's a broader one table that we have to establish and stay there to make changes systemically in the state, in the county, and in the city. And also, Shanique, I would ask that you call us back together again to see if the one table has been formulated, or if the call is still going out and we need help to push the message out further to make sure that no one is being omitted in the call, because we're working feverishly, if you will, to make sure that no one is excluded when the call goes out. And so I think that the platform that you have created here, the persons that you have invited with their massive influence in this community, we want to get the word out. So take it down. Faith Community Alliance are working to create this one table. We have started among the faith community. We're trying to spread that to broader tables as well. So I would ask that you would pray for us, but not only pray for us, is to be in attendance and stay at the table. We can't do what we have done with our feelings and with our personal innuendos. We have to stay at the table. We have to do the tough work because it's for the masses. And we can't be temperamental about these tough issues. The political leaders have already been perfidious about their lack of service to us, and we don't need to repeat that. So I think it's very important that the one table be supported, and let's not get hung up in personalities. Let's get to the work, and I think people will be blessed if we do it with the capability that I know we all have. Shanique, once again, thank you so much.
Absolutely, Shanique. No, we're not just saying something to you. I think you know it yourself. You're unique, even among Black media in this town, and we do appreciate you. And that's all. We just appreciate you. The comment about two systems, we do need to be very clear. There's only one system. I think I know what Fred is saying, and he could correct me if I'm wrong, but there is one system, y'all, and we gotta know the system. We can't just be talking. What is the system that we're talking about? It's the capitalist economic system. That's the system. It's the two-party democratic, quote unquote, democratic political system. It's the social system of white supremacy. That's the system that we're talking about. And there's only one. There's only one system. But I believe I know what Fred was alluding to. Within that system, there are basically two sides, whether we call it good and bad, evil and righteousness. I frame it as status quo and change. It's either those who want to keep things as they are because they're benefiting greatly, and why would they want to change? And it's those of us who want change so desperately that we could taste it, not just for ourselves as selfish individuals, but for our people. And I think that's the two sides, and which is so important about leadership. When we're choosing leadership, and again, in my view, that's like the ultimate litmus test. Do you want change, or are you working to keep stuff like it is? Are you going to go along with the way things are? Or are you really going to fight for change? And we've said it over and over and over again. It comes back to organizing, along with what Minister Florence asked in terms of you doing this again with us for a check-in to see how we're coming with the one table. Maybe there can be a session where you actually ask the question, what will it take for the Black community to get organized? What will it take? And if we could get those active minds in the city of Rochester, those of us who say, and maybe it's beyond the city of Rochester, but certainly in the city of Rochester, who say we want organized. We want to be organized. We say it, we confess it. Well, then let's come together and talk seriously. Maybe you can bring us together to talk seriously about what will it take? What will it really actually take? Again, removing our feelings to the degree that we can and looking at the objective reality. What will it really take for us to get organized? I know this. If I don't know nothing else, we talk about a tremendous sacrifice. And so we need to ask ourselves, we really do. Are we willing to make the necessary sacrifice that it's going to take for us to get organized for real? And so I can tell that Anthony's been reading. He's been reading Huey Newton because he's talking about seizing the moment. And that's right. That's so right. We've missed a moment. We've missed a historical moment. Do y'all know, and I'm gonna quit rambling, but do y'all know what just happened last year? Speaking of corporate America, they opened their damn bank books and asked us what y'all want, what y'all need to put these fires out, to keep on breaking these windows and turning these cars over. What y'all want? We couldn't answer because we weren't organized. So you got some nigger over here saying, I wanted just a lollipop, master, and another one said, give me a pie, and another one, right? And some of them got perks and so forth, and our community in general still in the same condition, probably in worse condition now. Because we weren't organized. We couldn't answer the call. These people actually opened up their bank books to us. And we couldn't even take advantage of it. I'm sorry for screaming and yelling, y'all, but I think about this stuff waking me up with nightmares. Like, man, so just thank you again, Shanique. Thank y'all, and Brother Anthony, yes, please work on the youth, and we will absolutely work on the elders, and hopefully we'll all know when it's time to say, all right, now let's sit down and let's get serious about doing this, and let's no more walking away, like the minister said, no more walking away. Doggone it, we're gonna stay this time. We're gonna stay through thick and thin. We're gonna fight through whatever we have to fight through, and we're gonna stay. Because if we don't, it ain't happening, y'all. So thanks again, Shanique, and thank y'all for tolerating my rambling. I know I ramble, but appreciate y'all all, man. Love y'all all.
So I do want to thank all of you guys for joining me, and thank you for the comments about Tocsin. We really are here to try to serve the community. And Anthony, I did want to talk about the Family Dollar incident, but I felt there wasn't, it wouldn't be a balanced conversation because the people who organized it, really, there's really no one here to represent them. Like I reached out to Antonia. I know she was there. Hopefully next week I'll have her so we can kind of discuss that, because I think what happens in our community is everyone has a clear understanding of what they believe. Like a lot of people feel like they shouldn't be out there protesting. Some people think it's dumb. Some people think, but I went out there to get understanding, right? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying not to judge. Well, what I'm trying to do is to have my own beliefs, but at the same time, find understanding. Why are they out there doing it? And when I went out there and I talked to the people there, it made me understand, okay, I get it. Like, it may not be something I would do, but I kind of understand, okay, the family want answers there, so I feel like we can't place our feelings, like Howard said, we're placing our feelings about what we would do onto other people versus allowing them to do their part. We do our part. We may not be doing the same thing, but if we all come together and everyone has a duty to do this or that, but we all respect each other and understand why the other person is doing it the way they're doing it. We may not want to do it that way, but again, having people who are participating or participated in that incident yesterday kind of is why I was like, should I talk too much about it? Because I didn't want it to seem like we were dissing them or trying to make because
if you want my opinion.
Oh, you were there, Tatiana?
Yeah.
I was there for a minute, but I didn't feel like I could give a real clear understanding of it. An opinion based.
I understand. So the protest wasn't about what he did, because obviously what he did was wrong. We weren't protesting the fact that he was committing a crime and that's what happened. We were actually protesting the fact that, and I had to let everyone know because I wasn't in a total agreement of this protest, but I did go in support because I am part of CJI. They actually were protesting because they're refusing to give a body cam. Also because unbeknownst to them, they wasn't releasing the body. So I did get a chance to explain to them that when there's a homicide, regardless of who do it, the body doesn't get released to us at the morgue. However, they're telling the family that they cannot get the body cam. So that's why we were protesting. We were protesting because of the body cam and the fact that if he was a white male or a white woman, he would have been marched out with a bulletproof vest, riot gear on his head, fed Burger King, or jogging next to the police car with AK-47. And those were two mass shootings of white guys that committed those crimes that did that. So the reason that when we're protesting police brutality is because if we weren't the color skin that we were, we will be getting dinner at Burger King. We'd be jogging next to the police car with our weapon. We would be at the movies right after we just killed somebody because that was our last wish. So that is the point of a lot of these protests. It's about, you know, the fact of the matter, the fact that they're massively killing us, even though we understand he was in the wrong and we understood Tim was in the wrong. It's the fact that they're massively killing us just to kill us. That is why they were out there for body cam, and the fact that regardless of what happened, he didn't have to die. So, you know, and there was 3 different organizations. It wasn't just CDI. I know Free the People was out there. Hope Initiative was a Hope Initiative. Isaiah, We All We Got was out there. The teen youth advocacy groups was out there. There was a lot of people out there. The community people were out there, and they're just tired. Honestly, they're tired of the killings, regardless of whether the victim was in the wrong or the right. They're just really tired of our Black kings and queens being enslaved in the streets, regardless of who they are. So I can give that 2 cents since I was there, you know. And I asked, because when they was asking me to go while I was at work, I'm like, well, he held up a Family Dollar. Why are you protesting that? We shouldn't be protesting that. And it was other reasons. So, you know, I'm like you said, to each their own. And I understood, and I stood in solidarity with my people because they need the solidarity regardless of what anyone thinks. So
we're going to wrap this thing up. Again, I appreciate everyone that's involved, and I will reach out to you guys if you have some time next week. We'll probably switch up some of the players in this, but thank you all again for joining me.
Thank you. Appreciate you.